Hello, everybody. Bryony Zasman here, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today, we're hosting, I think it's our 11th or 12th demo day, and we're switching it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we'll go over a bit of an agenda and dive right in. Now, some of you have joined a demo day in the past, some of you have ZOOMstudio, and some of you are new altogether. We are going to skip a usual introduction where we talk about I just got a pop up that Zoom quit. I think we're still here though. Okay.
I can still see you.
Okay,
So
that's weird. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about why we built ZOOMstudio and our background, but if that's something you're interested in, we have a YouTube channel with all of the previous sessions recorded, and we'll include that in our follow-up session, follow-up email, so you can jump in and watch any of those. All right, so in our agenda, we're going to talk very briefly about what ZOOMstudio is, like 10 seconds. Then we're going to go over the top features of ZOOMstudio. These are the things that make ZOOMstudio so powerful and the tool that is going to change the way you do business. We're then going to talk about website integration options, what's next for ZOOMstudio, and then we'll do some Q&A. So if you have any questions during this session, please feel free to type them into the chat box. We'll go through those at the end. Of course, you can always reach out for a one-on-one follow-up call or email us for any other information. So what is ZOOMstudio? ZOOMstudio is the industry's smartest and easiest design tool, enabling you to create custom content at scale. We've been in the industry since 2009, initially helping suppliers get their catalogs online and making it easy for distributors to find and share the catalogs from suppliers. We have evolved and come a long way, and we wanted to focus on the process of creating this content. All the suppliers we met with and spoke with throughout the years had similar pain points, which is that it's very difficult to keep up with and create all the marketing and sales content you need. Not only do you need to create your catalog, you need to create lookbooks, breakout pieces, vertical market flyers, customer specific presentations, virtual samples, all of this demanding a lot of attention from your design team or needing to be outsourced. Now, what we did was we built a tool that connects to your product data and brings all of the pieces needed into the tool so that you can quickly create what you need, empowering both you, your team, and your distributors. So today we're going to focus on the core features that make Zoom Catalog so powerful. And the first one I want to talk about is the heart of ZOOMstudio, and that is your product data. We connect to your product data and power your own ZOOMstudio so that users can find your products and create with confidence. One of the biggest challenges with creating catalogs and presentations in a tool like Illustrator InDesign is that you're having to copy and paste a lot of information. You're saving and downloading images, and it is very long and tedious. And you also run into problems with data accuracy. If your pricing changes, if a color is discontinued, you don't have an easy way to ensure that those pieces you have published are up to date. So by connecting your product data to ZOOMstudio, we can keep everything up to date and make it really easily accessible, regardless of what you're creating, whether that is a lookbook, presentation, catalog, flyer, and more. With the integration, we do all the work. This is a top question we get all the time. I don't really have time to get something like this set up. Well, the good news is if you do jump on board with ZOOMstudio, we're going to take care of that integration for you, and it's going to be something that is very hands-off for your team. We offer 3 different integration options, 1 being promo standards, 2 an API, and 3 a spreadsheet. So I won't get into the nitty-gritty of that, but if it is something you want to learn more about or want help deciding how to connect your data to ZOOMstudio, we'd happily jump on a call to discuss. The next feature is smart layouts. This is the technology that makes ZOOMstudio so powerful. The challenge with creating content today is that you need to have design skills and design knowledge to be able to create something that looks good and that is on brand. You have to use specialized software and put these pieces together, publish them, and then constantly go back to them to keep them up to date. However, with ZOOMstudio, we have smart layout technology, which is a point and click design tool, and the smart layouts determine where things will go on the page, how they will align, how big the images are, ensuring that things look amazing. And regardless of who is creating, they do not have to make any design decisions. They're simply choosing the content, which product and which images they'd like. Just something I meant to mention is that we are on a time limit of 30 minutes today, so I'm going to move fairly quickly so we can deeper dive one-on-one in any of these. But I am going to go into the tool and show you the smart layouts in action. So let me jump over here. So I have entered the PCNA ZOOMstudio and I've started a new design. I'm going to quickly name the details here. So maybe summer products. I can choose my currency, my page orientation, and get started. Now, you'll see in the middle, we have our page, and on the page is what we call the smart layout. This layout is 4 products and a logo, but we have a library of different layouts that you can choose from depending on what you're designing. You can use these layouts in different combinations to create really dynamic content that looks awesome. And regardless of layout, it's going to look great. So I'm going to make a really quick flyer using a combination of 3 different layouts to give you an idea of how flexible these layouts are and how it always will look professional once published. So for my flyer, the first thing I'm going to do is switch the page layout to the basic half and half, which is a nice image at the top and 2 products below it. So you can see now my page layout has changed. I can change the order of elements on this layout as well. So maybe moving the image down or turning off the logo. I can configure it however I need. Now, all I need to do is click on each element or each block to add the content. When I click on the image block, I'll be able to find an image, and we're going to talk a little bit about this image library later on. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and just quickly search Unsplash and find an awesome image that works well for the design I'm creating. I select, and that will populate right in that spot. For the product blocks, all I need to do is click on each, and I am now able to access all that product data I spoke about earlier. So we've connected to your product data, and we've made all of your information and your product images fully searchable. So somebody in here can search by keyword, product ID, or product name. So I'll search for sunglasses. From PCNA, I see all their different options. I can choose the color variations, and when I choose a different color, I get the appropriate image associated with that color. When I click add, it shows up on the canvas with all of the up-to-date pricing, details, and images. Then I can go ahead and continue adding the products I need. So now I have 2 products on this layout. Now, if I need to add more products, I can add another page, and again, I get the 4 product smart layout, which I can change if needed. So I am going to switch this one out. And on this page, I'm going to do just 3 products in a row. Now, if you can imagine empowering your sales rep with a tool like this, when they get a call from a distributor and the distributor is asking for product suggestions, they can hop in here and quickly put products together and send this over to their distributor before they're even done with the phone call. They don't have to go to the design team, communicate the products that they're thinking of including, and wait days to get it back from them. It also means they don't have to send an email with a bunch of links to your website. By giving them this presentation that's laid out and looks really nice, you're increasing the chances that distributor is going to take that piece and then forward it on to their customer. So not only are you making product suggestions, but you're giving them something that they can use to sell and market your items. So now I have 2 pages with 2 different layouts, and just to round it out, I'm going to add 1 more page, and I'm actually going to slide it up to the top and change this to a cover page. So I'll use the cover page layout, which is an image, title, and logo. So I'll start by finding an image here. We'll just choose something a little random. Of course, you'll be a little bit more selective when you're creating, and then you'll go ahead and add a title. All right, so now I have my piece and I'm ready to go. Now, just a side note, if I want to, I can swap out this logo. If I'm making it for a distributor, I can pop their logo in there, or I can turn the logo off altogether. So you're going to create the piece you need for your audience. Then I simply publish, get my link, and I can share. Sharing is simple. You get a link, you can paste it into an email, use on your website, email signatures, and so forth. So that's how the smart layouts make it really simple to design and ensure things look amazing. Now, because of limited time, I'm not going to make a lookbook or catalog, but I do want to point out that we do have double page spreads that you can add, which allow you to get that catalog look that you see with Zoom catalogs or even a print catalog. It's really fun to create with that, and you can use the different layouts to create really dynamic content. So smart layouts is a really important feature of ZOOMstudio, ensuring that regardless of who is designing, they're able to put something together quickly, easily, and ensure that it's accurate. Now, the third feature we want to highlight today, and one of the features that people get most excited about, is our asset library. When you're creating this content, over and above having product images and product information, you do need all of the other assets to make your designs look awesome. Photography, brand elements, lifestyle shots, the shots you're taking that you include in your catalog. And these are the pieces that can make it really a tedious process to design something in the other software I've already mentioned. So we have a library where you can come and centralize all your assets in one place. By centralizing them into ZOOMstudio, when someone is creating, they will have those pieces right at their fingertips. We also have permissions based for users in the tool, which means you can have certain assets that only your team can access, and you can have access to assets that your distributors can access as well. So a great use case for this is that you could build out a library of all your distributor logos and make that available just for your team. That way, when a sales rep or somebody on the marketing team is jumping in to create something customer specific, they can quickly find the logo they need without having to hunt it down on their computer. So these shared libraries can make life much easier, and again, just brings everything in one place so that creating takes minutes, not weeks or months. So let's take a look at the asset library. So I have a design I got started with here, and this is in the Alpha Broder ZOOMstudio. I put 2 pages in here, a cover page and a two product page layout, and I left the image blocks empty. So when I click on an image block in a layout, this will launch the asset library that I just mentioned. The asset library has 3 core options for a user. First, they have option to upload any images they want to use. The nice thing about this is that when they upload something, it saves to their account. So if they come back later on, what they've previously uploaded will be available to be used again. And this is true for your distributors as well. So if they have certain brand elements, logos, and things like that, that they are reusing over and over, they're not having to upload over and over. So each individual user will have access to their own images. Secondly is the shared library. This is where you, as the owner of ZOOMstudio, can upload all your lifestyle shots, your catalog imagery, additional product images, brand elements, and make them available for all users to use within their designs. I'll show you the dashboard where you'll be able to upload and manage these assets, but as soon as you do, they become available for your users. I can search them by keyword or browse to see what's available here. When I find an asset I like, I select it, and that's going to pop it right in there. So now I'm able to enhance these designs with assets from that specific supplier. We'll turn off this logo, or yeah, this logo for space, and then we'll give it a title. So there's one asset, and then just going back to show it again. In the shared library, again, I have access to, in this case, the Alpha Broder assets that are available just in their studio to make my design more enhanced and visually appealing. So I can choose an asset and pop it in there. Now, the third option we have is our partnership with Unsplash. Unsplash is a library of royalty-free stock images. There are thousands of amazing images that you can use in your designs. So somebody can come here and search by keyword to find the perfect image. So let's type in and see. So we can find some great shots to use within our design. Now, of course, the more specific I am with my search, the more specific my results will be. But once I find a product I like or an image I like, I can then use that within my design. And I do have some tools to move this image around and change it if needed, so I can make it fit nicely. So just to show you the dashboard, when you come on board with ZOOMstudio, this editor is what your users will use to create, so your team and your distributors. But in addition to the editor, you as the admin and anyone else you invite, so your team, will have access to our dashboard. This dashboard is a powerful tool for seeing what's being created, tracking, and so forth, which we'll get to a little later. But we wanted to show you quickly the asset library. So you come into the dashboard, and adding those additional assets is very simple. All you need to do is click upload. Those will upload them into your account. By default, anything you upload will be available only for you, but you can really easily change the permission by selecting the ones you want, choosing select permission, and then deciding if that is for everyone, for your team, or just yourself. You also have some tools for cleaning up the images. So if I wanted to go in here and rename this logo, I can choose my grouping. So is it a logo or an image, and what category, save it, and that'll update it as well. So we have some simple management tools for getting your assets into the tool. And as soon as we do that, it's going to update what your users see. So again, the asset library is just another way to ensure that when somebody is creating a design, what they need is right there, ready for them to add to their layouts in their design. Now, another feature, and this one is actually fairly new, very exciting, and that is our editable templates and template library. Now, one of the most powerful parts of ZOOMstudio is that you can come in and create lookbooks, catalogs, presentations, flyers, and share them with your distributors as editable. That means your distributors can make your flyers and content their own, perhaps switching out some products, marking up pricing, changing out a logo. They can tweak it a little or customize it a lot, publish and get their own version. So a great use case for this is if you had a new product launch and you sent out an email blast with the new items that you were launching. You could hop into ZOOMstudio and create a beautiful lookbook with those items and get an editable link to include in that email blast. So you could have a button at the bottom of the email that says view our catalog, or click here to make it your own. Then they can jump in there to launch that design in ZOOMstudio, and they can make the tweaks they need before sharing. This is awesome for buying groups as well as smaller distributors. They often don't have the time or resources to create beautiful content. So by giving them these editable templates, they can get something that they can use to sell and promote your products. Now, not only can you publish your designs as editable, you're also able to add them to a template library. When somebody enters your studio, they can choose one of your templates as their starting point, or they can start from scratch. So I'm going to jump over and show you what this looks like. So this is the start screen. This is a demo ZOOMstudio, so this is not one that belongs to a specific supplier. But if we were to set you up with one, this would be your logo and your color scheme, and then somebody entering will be able to view your templates, go to their designs, or use Smart Layouts or our other freeform editor. So if they want to use a template, they can click on the template library, and that's going to load the template library here with the different templates you have made available. So you can see I have a whole bunch available. I can click to view it before deciding if that is the one I want to use as my starting point. And if it is the one I want to customize, I'll use the template and then make it my own. So at the very base, I might just switch out the branding and add my logo and information there. But I could take it a lot further and swap products, add a cover page, add additional pages, delete pages. I mean, I can do what I need to make it meet my needs. So adding templates to the template library is very simple. So I'm going to quickly show you how that works. So you'll jump into ZOOMstudio, your ZOOMstudio, and you'll create a design. So I've made a basic flyer here, 2 pages with some speakers on it. These are new speakers that we just rolled out, and I want to make sure that there's a flyer in the template library for our sales reps to quickly customize for distributors that are looking to sell these items. I also want to have this editable template available to use in our social posts and our email blasts. So I go ahead and I create the piece. Then I'll go to my design settings and I'll turn it on as a shareable template. So this is the first step. I simply toggle this on. By toggling that on, you'll see I now can see that this design is a template. I'll publish my changes. And when I share it, whoever gets this link will be able to make it their own. So this is the link I'm going to use in my marketing and my emails on my website and so forth. Now I can easily share this editable template and not have it available in the template library. But if I want it in the template library so users can find it when they enter Studio, all I need to do is toggle this on and it will add the template to my template library. So now that I just turned that on, we're going to go back to our template library here and we'll refresh it. And you'll see as soon as this is refreshed, that design I just made and turned on is available in the template library for anybody to use as their own. So really quick and simple to add these pieces in. And we haven't looked at it in this demo today, but you can make catalogs and lookbooks too. So creating content really has never been easier, and being able to customize it also has never been easier. We know that suppliers get tons of requests all the time from distributors who are like, hey, I love your catalog, but can you add my branding? Or I love that flyer, but can you switch out that product or add my contact details? Things that are just very tedious and time consuming. And most suppliers don't have the design resources to fulfill all these requests. Now you do, whether it is a rep jumping in here and doing it for a distributor or distributor self-serving. So the template library is something we just rolled out, and with ZOOMstudio, you will be able to add as many editable templates as you need to the library for use in your marketing. We have 2 more that I want to cover, and then I want to talk about what's next. We have 8 minutes, so I'm going to move quickly. Tracking and analytics is an obvious feature. So a lot of suppliers before ZOOMstudio didn't have a designated tool for creating presentations for their customers. The challenge with this is that there's just no history as to what products were shared with specific distributors. What were they provided to go sell and market your products? What do reps do when they are asked to provide some products for the distributor to sell? Without a tool, you have no tracking and insight into what's really going on. You're also subject to sales reps coming up with their own solution, whether it's just pasting a bunch of ugly website URL links into an email or going into Canva and trying to do something that looks good. Without that lack of control, you have content out there that does not look good or isn't on brand. There's no history of what products were suggested. So the really cool thing about ZOOMstudio is it's going to streamline what content is being pushed out there. It's going to allow you to see what reps are creating and what they're sharing. You can see how many designs were created by each rep. And then not only that, you're going to see the total views for each piece. So you'll know if it was viewed or if it was shared. And ultimately, you can tie this data back to sales and see what is converting to sales, what is working, what is not working. You can make better decisions with this data as to what type of content should be created or what type of designs should be shared with distributors that will encourage them to go use it and market your products on. So the tracking and analytics you get with ZOOMstudio is immensely powerful. And not just the tracking and analytics, but the collaboration and the insight that everybody has inside of the team dashboard. And the last thing I want to talk about before we talk about what's next is our auto-generated content on demand. Now, this is a big topic, so if you're interested in it, let us know and we can send you a recorded demo day session of it, or we can meet one-on-one. But we have some amazingly powerful tools that you can use on your website. The tools to implement on your website will allow your website visitors to instantly generate content with one single click. So, for example, you can use this on the individual product pages of your website. You would add a button that says generate sell sheet or generate flyer, and somebody who clicks that is going to instantly get a design laid out with the accurate, up-to-date product information for that item in an unbranded flyer or sell sheet. You can actually decide how that looks. And then they can choose to customize it. So they can add their branding or markup pricing or hide pricing. So they're generating that sell sheet at that moment in time with one single click. It's using ZOOMstudio, but they're not even entering ZOOMstudio. So being able to generate this content that quickly when and where you need it is going to give the distributors, again, exactly what they need to sell and market your products. And this integration can be used in many other ways. So if you have a wish list tool or favorites tool on your website, you can use this API on those lists as well. So somebody can click a button and all the products they've compiled into that list will be instantly added to a beautiful presentation and sent back a link right on your site that they can go share or customize as their own. So again, they're getting a presentation that looks great and they're not even leaving your website to go and create it. This can be done for categories on your website to create catalogs, flyers, presentations. There are a million options for this API, but implementing this API is a very powerful thing. Our suppliers that have used the API have seen a dramatic increase in the amount of content that's being shared by their reps and their distributors because it is so easy. And not just because it's easy, but it's because they're putting what the user needs in front of them at the moment that they need it. So if you're interested in learning more about our website integration tools, definitely reach out. We definitely would love to show you as well as give you a walkthrough of how it works on some different websites. Now, to wrap this up, I want to talk about what I think is the most exciting part of this entire presentation, and that's what we are currently building. We are building a tool that allows anyone to create virtual samples in minutes, not days. We know that there are virtual sample tools out there, and we know that it is a struggle for a lot of suppliers to fulfill the virtual sample requests that they get. We have worked with and spoken to many suppliers and have come up with a way in which we are going to empower not just your design team, but your sales team, your marketing team, and your distributors to create many virtual samples in a few seconds flat. So we're building a virtual sample add-on for ZOOMstudio. And when somebody is creating a piece within ZOOMstudio, a logo that they've selected will automatically be applied to each product they add to the design. I'm not going to get into the details of it again for the sake of time, but we have a whole session about this. So if you're interested in watching that, let us know. We can send it over or we can meet one-on-one to give you a walkthrough. But whether you're putting 4 products or 40 products into a design, they can all be branded with the customer logo instantly before sharing. And I showed you the editable templates in the template library a few moments ago. That plugin will work there as well. So you can have virtual enabled catalogs, flyers, presentations, and more. For example, you could create a summer lookbook. It could have 25 products that you recommend for summer, created in a beautiful catalog with lifestyle shots. A distributor can open up that template in your template library, select the logo they want, and have it applied to all the items in that catalog, publish, and they're good to go. So not only do they have a beautiful catalog, but their customer's logo is on all the items, and they can then share it on. And of course, a powerful tool for your sales reps and your team too. We are going to be using your product data to power this tool. It's not a requirement. So if you don't have this product data readily available, don't rule yourself out. It's not a requirement. But if we can get that data, it's going to allow us to take the tool up a few notches by providing different imprint locations, imprint methods, imprint sizes. So if you want a sneak peek at this, definitely let us know. We'd love to show you. We're shooting to roll it out at the end of Q2. We currently have a group of launch partners we're working with, so a number of suppliers that have come on board to be the first with it. We do have a couple spots left, so if it's something you want to participate in, definitely let us know, and we can see if you're a good fit. But keep an eye out for this functionality because it really does make ZOOMstudio all that more powerful. and it's going to alleviate the stress of creating virtual samples and needing to outsource it or overwhelm your team with these requests. So that's it, highlighting a bunch of features today. As mentioned, we went quickly. We didn't actually look at creating a catalog. I think that's like the one big thing that I didn't touch on. So I'd love to show you all one-on-one if you're interested, or we can send a video. But please go ahead and type your questions in the chat box, and I'll go ahead and get those answered. All right, so pricing for ZOOMstudio. So the pricing for ZOOMstudio is based on the number of SKUs that you carry. There's going to be a one-time integration fee and then an annual service fee once you go live. So for us to give you a quote, please just let us know what your SKU count is, and we can provide that information to you. Looking through here. Will we have this recording? Yep. So we will follow up with a recording of this session and a follow-up email so you can share it with your team. But as mentioned, we're happy to meet one-on-one, so we can always schedule another session as well. Future sessions. So we have one planned future session about enhancing your website with ZOOMstudio on the 16th of May. And we'll be scheduling some other sessions. But as mentioned, we also have a whole playlist on YouTube with all of the different topics we've covered. So we'll include that in the follow-up, but you can watch and share any of the sessions that we previously recorded, as well as sign up for our one on the 16th.